Hi there, everyone. This is Beth Turner here on The Huddle. Today I'm with Jesper Kärrbrink, the CEO of Immense Group. Jesper, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Really nice to be here and nice meeting you.
Lovely to meet you as well, and lovely to see you in your swanky Immense office, which we'll talk about going on in a minute. But I'd love to start today by getting to know you a little bit. I did a little bit of digging on the LinkedIn, and
Mhm.
you've been in executive roles for over 30 years. How
Yes.
has the position of CEO changed for you in your experience in that role over that time?
Oh wow. Of course it changed a lot, but I would say all roles has changed a lot because society is life is totally different today. I mean, back when I started, we had 300 baud modems transferring data back and forth. You fax to people, and internet was of course coming, but email was not that common. And even me, I made our first HTML page at the newspaper, Östersunds-Posten, where I was the CEO at that time. So it it has happened. So I mean the difference is enormous, of course. But that goes for every role, whether you are a CEO or a journalist or a middle management or a marketeer. The world is so different today. So I would say that the role description is basically very much the same, but the complexity is of course much bigger. And I thought about that a couple of days ago actually, uh, and back in the days at that time you could be like if you were a guy with a good confidence, semi-intelligent, and just a lot of kind of being there, you could be decent CEO, actually. That doesn't work today. Today you have to, and this is said from a positive side, you have to kind of adapt to your more feminine sides. You have to have some intuition. You have to have some social skills. You have to have some sensibilities, etc., etc. You can't just rush forward. And so I would say that the job today is much more complex. Those guys doesn't survive today. You have to adapt to a different way of managing, and that's in a very positive way.
Absolutely, but it's the role of CEO now requires so many more skills than it did before. You
Yes.
need almost such a broad palette to be able to
Yes.
balance everything.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you have to be able to write, you have to be able to present, you have to be able to sell, you have to be able to communicate and to kind of take care of people and meet people in a total different way than you did like 30 years ago. Then you were the boss. You can't just be the boss today. You have to be the leader. And the difference between a boss and a leader is immense actually. It's huge. And today you need to be a leader.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I want to kind of keep in that kind of looking back a bit. In 2004, you were the CEO of Svenska Spel when I was doing that little LinkedIn digging around. Was that your first role in the gambling industry? And what about that role made you want to come back to the gambling industry later?
Yes, actually it was my first gambling role and big one and a really fun one. I loved it. Svenska Spel is an amazing company and it's an amazing industry. I just fell in love with it from day one. First of all, you have the basic challenge of actually selling but not selling too much, because you have players that really can't handle the product, and that challenge is so interesting from a lot of perspectives. But then also it's a very data-driven industry. Competition is fierce. Uh, you have to be on your toes all the time, and once again, you can't take all the decisions you want to take because they might have a backside that you have to control. So yeah, no, I fell in love with that challenge from day one, and then there's a lot of cool people in the industry, a lot of fun people, and in that aspect, the industry has also changed. It's not only the CEO roles that changed, but the gaming industry changed a lot. Back in the days, you find a lot of cowboys. Today, I mean, this is a career step for a lot of people. You find a lot of smart people with high education, high level educations, etc., etc. So the industry has developed and evolved in a very positive way when it comes to that. But yeah, it's like 15 years ago, and yeah, I fell in love with this industry at that time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's interesting to think now with Svenska Spel how they've changed. And like you said, with how technology has changed. Now they're focused so much more on online and gambling online, whereas their casinos in, physical casinos have been sort of on a decline. I think that kind of reflects similarly what we've already spoken about, how times have changed since then.
Yes, I mean, and I mean, if you take it even like 10 years back, more like 25 years ago, you had Lotto, you had some sports book, you had to go into the betting shop. They had a game a day, no live betting, no live casinos, very limited commercial, etc. So it's a total different industry today. We have gaming 24/7. We have marketing in all channels. We are online. You have your live bets in your pocket or your slots in your pocket with you every day. And so the industry has evolved enormously during this time and the opportunities. So yeah, it happens a lot of things.
Sure. And I can't imagine what it would have been like if you told yourself, 20 years ago when you were there, just so you know, you can do your sports betting on your phone now. So,
No, no.
look
Yeah,
forward
you
to
do
that.
you do live bets like every game in the tennis game, every serve in the tennis game. That was like unheard of.
Mm,
At that point, you actually set the odds in the beginning of the week, and then you printed them and sent them out to the shops, and then you couldn't change them. So even
mm.
if half the team got the flu, you couldn't change the odds. You just had to take them. You just have to roll with the punch. I mean, today we changed the odds in like in a millisecond.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It is crazy to think how much
yeah,
things have
it is.
changed now.
Yes.
We're coming to the present now about your new role. You recently took on the role of CEO with the newly consolidated immense group, which was previously Videoslots and their various
Mm.
range of businesses. What was your immediate thought when you were offered that role?
Yeah, it actually I've been since I left Mr. Green and moved back to Sweden in 2019. I've been advising and having chairmanships in different companies, and that's kind of a lifestyle that suited me pretty well. And my first thought was, "Ooh, should I go back operational again?" And then I realized that yes, I really want to do that. I have one more shot left, I think. And also I like the guys behind Videoslots and that group of companies with Alexander and his two founding partners since like 15 years back. They're really nice people. They have a really good vision about what they want to do. They decided 2 years ago to kind of twist the strategy to going all regulated and reduce the number of or reduce the dependency on what we call high rollers, and with that being more of a recreational brand. And I like the strategy, and I see the challenges in that strategy. And I realized that, yeah, wow, with my experience, I can probably help them. So it felt good. I was really happy to get the question.
Absolutely. And as we've said already, it's the gambling industry is full of so many fantastic people. And I think it's great to hear back from the people that you know and to build those connections and work with people that you see a vision in.
Yes, no, it is. And yeah, once again, this industry is full of what I call rock stars, and it's also a very open industry where you can share experiences and you meet. There's a lot of meeting points in this industry, and yes, you are competitors, but at the same time, you are colleagues and peers in the same industry, and that it doesn't happen in that way in all industries. And it's also a rather small industry. When you go to these events, we're talking about 400 or 500 people, and you know half of them by name, and the other half you recognize basically. And that also makes the industry, even though it's one of the most competitive I've been in, it's also very friendly among the peers in the industry. And that, yeah, it's a good feeling, it's a good vibe.
Absolutely. I've heard that from so many people, people that come into the industry for the first time, they go to events, they go to ICE, something like that. And the kind of the welcoming that the industry will give to people, regardless as to who you're working with, that kind of community sense isn't necessarily seen in all other industries.
And everyone, I think most of the people in the industry is also here because they like it. They like the challenge that I explained before. They like the data-driven models we have. They like to being competitive. They like to kind of finding a way to do something better than no one else done before. So it's also an industry that drives change very fast. And one example of this was when COVID came. I mean, basically all casinos in a couple of days had moved their customer services with three, four, 500 people to hybrid work or to home work with computer systems, security, everything set up just in a couple of days. And you can see other industries struggle with this for months. And no, so it's a fast-moving industry with a lot of competent people.
It's a fast industry, but we love to be in it. So, one thing I'd love to know from you is of all of your experiences in the industry, both in this industry and in other industries, in these executive roles, what experiences do you feel will be the most helpful for you in this current role?
That's a very good question. Uh, Having gone from operational, I mean, I've been an operational CEO for almost 30 years and then went into advising and chairmanships. I realized that I'm sitting on a, on an immense amount of experience. When I come into this discussion, I realized I have a solution for this problem because I met it before. I've seen this before. I can put this and this together, and I've done it. So I think what I bring here is experience, in combination with my energy and my drive, and then also my knowledge about this industry. So I think it's not one thing. It's actually I'm coming to the age where I can kind of give back of all the experiences I kind of has accumulated over the years, and it's quite a nice feeling. I understand why people say that it's quite cool to get a bit older because you get more wise, actually, if I might say it myself.
Yeah, like you've got this, this big library of experience that you only get from the amount of time that you've put into it. So, absolutely.
Exactly. It does. I mean, whatever you do, if you are a car driver, the more you drive, the better you handle tough situations because you've been in them before or near them. It's kind of gets into your mental state, like you are in it. So no, so I hope that's what I bring. I think that's what I bring.
Fabulous. So I kind of want to get a little bit more of an insight now into the actual business workings itself. So when these brands kind of do these consolidation measures, what are the primary benefits that the brands get from doing that?
Mm. I'm not sure it's the brands per se. It's rather the people, uh, because when you come to a certain point, where am I actually working? It's video slots in this case, or I mean, Unibet did the same with Kinder. Kinder did the same with Unibet. At some point, the consumer brand becomes more than just a consumer brand. It becomes a group brand, and that could make it a bit confusing. What is our culture? Because my brand is where I'm working. I'm working with Mr. Vegas or with Dbet, and that's not video slots, but I'm still employed with video slots, etc., etc. So I think what we do here is more to bring up a unified brand, an employer brand, and with that we can build one culture, and that also means that when recruiting it will be much easier because we are recruiting from to the to immense group, but you can work with video slots, you can work with Mr. Vegas, it will be clearer for everyone in there. So I think that is the main reason why you do this. And then the second part in this is that when you grow, let's say that you want to acquire something, that is more natural that immense group acquires that than video slots, because this could be something that is totally different to video slots. It would be another market or another focus area, etc., etc. So there's a lot of soft, I would say, advantages with having a group name and a group brand. And once again, we are not the first one doing this. There's basically every larger operator today has done this. You have Flutter has the same. Uh, as I said before, Kinder has the same, and so on and so on.
It's getting everything under one roof, really, and just making sure that everyone's on top of everything. But primarily, these are behind the scenes changes. These aren't really impacting players on that end.
No, no,
So,
no, no, no,
how
not at all, not at all. And that's very important. The team in Malta, headed by Alexander as the CEO, they are in charge of the brands as before. The end consumer, they will perhaps not even notice that all these brands are now under the immense umbrella, and that's not the purpose either. So the purpose is more for the people in the company and for the industry. We are now coming out as immense in the industry. It will be easier to recruit. It will be easier to build the group culture, etc., etc.
Absolutely. And that's what I was going to ask next about the kind of behind the scenes. How do you make sure that those behind the scenes transformations don't impact the end players? What kind of things do you have in place to ensure that?
No, we have a very, very strict line of chain of command. So Alexander is driving all the operational brands, period. Not me, not at all. My job is to develop the group, to advise Alexander on the more of a board level, of course, and to make sure that we have a strategy for the men's group to grow as a group. But the operational part is to 100% operated by the managers in Malta or in each brand. That's very, very important.
Hey, noted. So, for you as CEO, looking ahead, what are you most looking forward to tackling as the CEO of Immense Group?
Yeah, wow. That I mean, first we should kind of consolidate this change and getting the men's group name out there, uh, getting the employer branding working as it should. But then, of course, my main target here is to grow the group by advising Alexander on growing organically, but then also adding new brands, either we by investment or could even be greenfield, but most likely investments. Uh, and then we are also looking into the future ownership strategy, where Immense today has three owners basically, and where we're gonna take that. So it's more the bigger questions in this case.
Sure. Now, I've got one more question for you, Jesper, just to kind of wrap things up today. And I really do appreciate your time. But going into 2025, as of recording this, we're, very close to the end of the year. But going into 2025, what can we expect from Immense Group?
No, I think the changes in the beginning will be rather small. We have set a new strategy for the group. Alexander set a new strategy for all the brands. So growth, of course, will be a key point there for how to grow the brands, new markets. But from my side, as I said before, we will evaluate some investments, definitely acquisitions. And then whether we do them or not, that's another question. But we will start evaluate acquisitions. We're also looking for setting the future ownership structure. And I mean, that's not a secret at all. We are also looking to whether one alternative is to potentially list the company in the future. But these are the things that I will work on the coming year.
Exciting. Well, big things coming ahead, and I'm looking forward to see what you guys do next.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Fabulous. Right. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Jesper. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate being here. It's always a pleasure.
No worries. And to everyone watching at home, thank you for watching.